In this video, I'll be going over how to convert fractions to decimals. In order to convert fractions to decimals, what you want to do is divide the numerator by the denominator and round if needed. Here is an example. 3/4. So we'll divide 3 by 4. 3 is not big enough. So what happened here is we'll put a 0 on top and put a decimal here. Now when we do this, we are now looking at 30 as the number to divide by 4. 30 divided by 4, we can use 7, which is 28, and this come out to 2. And then we'll bring another 0 down. And 4 times 5 equals 20. So the answer is 0.75. Here is another example. 7/16. Again, we'll divide 7, which is numerator, by the denominator, 16. 7 is not big enough to divide by 16, so we'll put a 0, then we'll place a decimal point, then we'll put a 0 after it. And the reason why we can put a 0 behind the 7 is because the 0 value does not change the numerator value. So it's still 7.0, and it could be also another, you can add another 0 and 0 and 0, and will always still be 7. So in this case, we added the 0, and again, we're looking at this as 70 divided by 16, and 4 goes in it, and that comes to 64. 70 minus 64 is 6. Then we bring the 0 down, and we can see 3 goes into it. 60 and will come out to 48. Then 12 comes down. We bring the 0 down again. Then the next number is 7. Then we get 112. Then we get 8. And we bring the 0 down. And the last one's 5. And we get 80. And that's the final answer. And that is the final answer. Now the question might ask you to round to the 10th value, the 100th value, or the 1000th value. So in this case, if they ask you to divide to the 100th value, it will be 0.44. If it's to the 10th value, then it will be 0.4. Here is another example. 12/15. Okay, we have 12 divided by the denominator, 15. And we're seeing the same situation where 12 is not big enough to go into 15, so put 0. 120 divided by 15 is 8. And that just happens to do it. So 0.8 is the answer. What about this example? 21/12. 21 divided by 12. 1 goes into it. 21 minus 12 equals 9. And we need to place the decimal point here and bring it down. Now 90 divided by 12 is, we can use 7, and that comes out to 84. Then there's 6 here, bring down the 0. Then we get 5. So the answer for this is 1.75. Now here's another example that would result in repeated decimal points. 3/9. 3 divided by 9 3 is not big enough for 9, so 0.30 divided by 9, we get 3. And then 27, and 3 again, 3, 27, and you can see that this will keep repeating. Our answer could just be simply put as 0.3 with the overbar on top. The overbar on top means that it's repeated decimal point, means that this number 3 will continue on infinitely. So this could be 0.3333333 and so forth. Now let's do one with a bigger number. 27 divided by 112. Okay, so we're starting with 27, the numerator, divided by 112, the denominator. The 27 is not big enough with the 112, so we'll put a 0, and then we'll add a 0 here. 270 divided by 112. 2 can go into it. 224 becomes 46. 4, bring down the 0. It's 4. 448. 12. Bring down the 0. And this will be 1. 112. 8. 80. 0. And then we'll bring down another 0 because 80 is not big enough to divide by 112. So with 800 divided by 112, we will have 7. 784. And that comes out to 16. We can tell that it's going to be a very long decimal answer. So if it was mentioned to you that you need to convert it to the hundredths value, then we will have 0.24 as the answer. And if they wanted to convert to the thousands, then it will be 0.241. And if you wanted to go even further, it could be 0.2411 and so on. So this is how you would convert fractions to decimals. We also have videos on how to convert decimals to fractions after this. So please stay tuned and thank you for watching.